And welcome to mytenniscoaching.com. As always, my name is Steve Whelan. I trust we are all well. It has been a few weeks. I took some time off over Easter. If you see my live stream a few weeks ago, I was pretty burnt out, pretty tired, pretty run down, pretty down in all sense of words. So a little bit of a break. Back to it over the past couple of weeks. A little bit of a break from streaming as well. But glad to be back. Glad to be going live today. And we're going to be discussing adding value, going above and beyond in your tennis lessons for your players. This was a great suggestion from Instagram. A coach from America whose name escapes me now. I'm really, really sorry. Sent me a message saying, could you talk about adding value, giving more to your players within your lessons? And I put it to a poll. I had two great suggestions. The other one was trying to teach players how to be more competitive, which we have covered a little bit before, but we will look at that as well, I think, in a future stream. So that was a great idea. So I put it to a poll. This one, 60-40 split. So as always, if you have any suggestions or ideas for things for me to talk about on these streams, let me know over on Instagram. Send me a direct message at My Tennis Coaching. So adding value to your lessons. Tennis coaching is quite expensive in the UK. Roughly, it's between 20 to 70 pounds for a lesson, depending on where you live, which kind of blows my mind because it's still the same service. When I worked up north in Liverpool, I used to charge £20 a lesson. I moved to London. That then jumped to £40 a lesson. And I remember first of all going, oh, that doesn't sit too right with me. I feel a bit ethically not right here, charging double what I normally charge. But that was the going rate, cost of living, or whatever you want to say. Down south, everything is more expensive. But how can we add more value, especially now in a crowded marketplace? And I don't just mean other tennis coaches. Like, it is competitive anyway. Like, if you work in a tennis center like I do, you've got 8-9 tennis coaches all looking for individual lessons, all selling services. Within your area, you can have 3 or 4 tennis clubs. Again, potentially 10, 15, 20 other tennis coaches in your area. But then we've got other sports. We've got other sports, football, basketball, gymnastics, swimming. Swimming is a huge competition in tennis, especially if you work in like a leisure center that has a swim program and you've got a tennis program. A lot of parents are going to look at swim as a life skill. They're not going to look at tennis in the same lens. So how can we make tennis really stand out? And how can we add value? I'm not going to talk about how to market tennis. I think that could be an interesting stream going forwards, because I don't think we market tennis very well. There's much more to tennis than hitting a tennis ball. Players will learn much more than how to hit a forehand if they come to your tennis lessons. But I want to talk about adding value. So when a player signs up for a group lesson or a private lesson, how can we stand out from the crowd? And I think first and foremost, we've got to always understand that tennis is a business. We are running a business, therefore we have to look professional. So a couple of quick wins: get rid of your Gmail email or your Google Mail, or if you're really old, Hotmail. Just get rid of those generic email addresses, stevetennis@hotmail.com. It's not my email address, by the way. It just doesn't look very professional. And again, I was doing a bit of coach research over the past few weeks. I was looking through the LTA website here in the UK, because it has all the coaches' contact details on. And so few have professional looking emails. Like, I probably wouldn't use a plumber, steveplumbing@gmail. I'd probably go to steve@plumbingsolutions.com, because that's okay. It's a bit more of a professional business. So first and foremost, spend a couple of pounds and get an email address that looks professional. Website, yeah, everyone now, like, if I go to anything, first thing I look at is the website. So even if you just have quite a basic website with just a little bit about you and your prices and where you coach, that's absolutely fine. You don't need an all singing, all dancing website, but you need some kind of online presence. I wouldn't use a national governing body website either. So here in the UK, our national governing body provide a service, a website provider for a free website, which is great, fair play. The only thing is, it all looks the same. All the templates, everything looks the same. It does not look unique. It's not very flexible and user friendly. Like, you could spend a couple of pounds and get a WordPress or a Wix website. and you can make it look unique and have your own branding and your own layout. So you definitely need to start looking a bit more professional. Yeah, we don't have a business card these days. 20 years ago, I remember doing my first business course, and all they talked about was a good business card. A bit like, what's that film? Can't think of the film. We don't have a business card no more. Our website is our business card. Our social media is our business card. And again, I think this is another stream in its own right, but your social media presence, don't just copy what other people are doing, and don't just do stupid reels of shaking your finger at the camera. Provide videos if you're coaching actual real players, because that's what people are going to buy from you. They're going to buy the coaching skills. Can you interact? Can you create relationships? Can you work with players? I see so many of these tutorials of coaches, and listen, no disrespect to those coaches who do tutorials, but it's an absolute waste of time anyway, because what works for you, or what works for one player won't work for others. So just be clever with your social media. And again, I think that's potentially could be a whole new stream. And I'm definitely playing around with a workshop on social media. I'm not saying that I'm the greatest at social media, but I do have a handle on sort of how to use social media to run a business as well. So let's look at when the member or the player has actually signed up for some lessons. What would be added value? What would be going above and beyond? And again, I always look at this from a business point of view. If I join a gym, first thing I get given is a welcome sequence, an onboarding sequence. So I'd probably get a few emails or maybe text messages of welcome me to the gym. So first thing you could do is a welcome email or welcome text saying, "Dear Steve, so great to have you on board as a player. Really excited for our lesson coming up on X date and X time. Please let me know if there's any questions that you may have in the meantime. And I may send you a few emails or messages just to give you a bit more information of what to expect, what to bring, just so we can work better together." Just a little welcome email saying, "Hi, thanks so much for signing up. Thanks for taking the plunge to have lessons with me." Small details make a huge difference. I don't know any tennis club that has a welcome onboarding sequence. I don't know any tennis coaches who have a welcome onboarding sequence. Generally, it's a phone call or a conversation at the club. I book a lesson next Wednesday at 7. Great. And then you just turn up at 7 on Wednesday. Again, if you're looking to be professional and stand out from the crowd, have an onboarding sequence. And then what you could do is then have follow-up, just things of, okay, here's a quick guide. Again, knowing your audience, if it's a complete beginner, you might send them a little email saying, okay, what type of shoes to bring, what type of clothing to wear, what type of racket you'd probably recommend. And if you're really clever and you're linked to a retailer, then you can put in your affiliate links, or you can say you can purchase these from me, or you can direct into a certain shop. Again, for a new member coming in, that could be worth its weight in gold, because they're going to be stressing about what to bring, what to wear. Is my racket good enough? And they go off and they dust off their old 1991 Pro Staff that they've had since they were a kid. It's about 340 grams. So a little welcome email of, okay, what to bring with you. If it's a parent and child, okay, bring a drinks bottle, bring a snack potentially. What not to bring: don't bring fruit shoots or Lucasade, stuff that's going to make them go hyper. Bring a racket. We do have rackets to club if needs be, but if you want to purchase a racket, these are the sizes and these are our recommendations. Again, you put your affiliate links in there. Wow. We have clothing available, like buy our club t-shirts, buy our club hoodies. Again, not only giving value, but then you start making them part of your tribe as well. And that's a big thing, because again, if you get them to purchase your club logo, club hoodie and club t-shirt, okay, they start to feel a part of the community. They've not even had a lesson yet. And then you may send them a follow-up email about you, okay, about your experience, who you've worked with, where you've worked. but then your philosophy and your methodology. Okay, this is how I work. So my name's Steve Whelan. I follow an ecological dynamics approach. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to learn via play. We're going to learn implicitly. We're going to learn dynamic movement solutions through games. And you may then link off to your YouTube or your Instagram when you showcase some videos if you coaching. Now the parents start to understand what they're going to get, or the player, what they're going to get when they turn up. And you're easing that pressure of the unknowing. And this could just take a sequence of a couple of emails over a couple of days. And then you could put on sort of what next, like what to expect. Okay, what's going to happen at the lesson. So in our first lesson, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have an introduction. We're going to get to know each other a little bit. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. The questions are, okay, how long have you played tennis for? What's the motivation for playing tennis? What would you like to get from our lesson today? What would you like to get from lessons long term? You can either email those answers across to me beforehand, or we can discuss them on the day, but just chew them over, reflect on them, because it'd be really good when you come to your lesson that we have a clear guide or pathway in which we want to go. And that could be a 3 or 4 day email sequence. Now you can set email sequences up. There's lots of email sequence providers out there. I use one which is quite expensive, but I send quite a lot of emails. But you can, like, there's lots on there. If you just Google email sequences, and you can set that up so when a member joins, they'll either join on a landing page or whatever website you use, and then that just triggers an email sequence. But that's a great onboarding process. And straight away, you're already separate from the club down the road. You're already different than 90% of tennis clubs. So already I'm like, wow, this guy or girl is really professional. They really take their job seriously. They've got a very professional looking website. They've got a professional email, and I've had this information sent through to me. And you know what? I'm really excited. What a great first impression, rather than send a text message. Yeah, it's 50 quid for the session. Here's my bank details. Pay me before the session. See you Wednesday at 7. There's not a lot of trust going on there. But if you can ease people in, and people don't like sending emails, stuff like that, because I think it's a bit spammy, because we get hit with so many emails. But don't forget, they've made the purchase here already. So it's not a spam process. It's a giving value process. So that's something that I would definitely recommend in terms of your onboarding system. So when the person signs up for lessons, make that sign up feel special. Make them think, you know what, I'm really happy I've booked that lesson. I'm really happy that I've paid 40, 50 quid here. It's gone very dark. I've got a new setup today. I've got like a brand new microphone, new lights, and a new camera and all sorts. I've invested a little bit of money in this, so hopefully see the difference in the quality of the production. But yeah, it's gone very dark outside, so it looks like I'm telling a ghost story with the lights on my face. But there we go. Now the lesson itself. So when the player gets to the session, those questions that you've sent in your onboarding process, like how long have you played for, what's the plan, what do you want to get from the session, they're really important, because your job is not to teach them how to play tennis. It's not to show them a serve, a return, a forehand, and a backhand. It's to get them achieve their goals. They may turn up and go, you know what, I really enjoy just running around the court and getting the sweat on. Okay, well, let's just do that. Let's work on that. We don't need to spend hours doing technique. I played since I was a kid. I'm playing with my husband, and he keeps beating me, and I want to try and get a bit more competitive and try and beat him on holiday. Okay. I really like playing doubles, but I'm not very good at it. Whatever it will be, your job then is to try and achieve that goal, and then you try and achieve it through whatever philosophy or methodology that you follow. Like I would do it through a constraint-led or ecological approach. You may do it a little bit differently. But then you almost, okay, the player needs a goal. They need something to work towards. And it's important that goal comes from the player as well. It doesn't come from you. And some of them might not really know why they want to play tennis. Is quite fancy a tennis session. But then it's important to give your lessons some context as well. So always have a goal in mind, what you want the player should know what they want to achieve. And then you've got to give them a personal experience. And I think one of my biggest criticisms of tennis coaches is this whole notion of private lessons. And if you've listened to these streams before, you know that I don't like private lessons. I think they're a waste of time. I think they're fake. And that's from a player development point of view. Like a private lesson, a coach can make you look really good and make you believe that you're a very good tennis player. However, private lessons, people like them because it's one-on-one, it's bespoke, it's all about them. But then tennis coaches deliver 8 private lessons back to back, and it's the same lesson. It's the exact same lesson. I've been coaching a long time. I've worked long days with lots of coaches. I guarantee the coach on the court next to me, more often than not, is just delivering the same session after hour after hour after hour after hour. So what's private about that? What's personal about that? How does that relate into every player is unique? It might not even fit into the player plan or player goals that they've come to your lessons with. The amount of times I see forehands or short ball volley. So actually deliver a lesson that's tailored towards them. So if they want to work on something specific, you work on something specific. But then those lessons have a progress as well. So there's a very clear progression week on week. There's progress being made. We like going to the gym. Why? Because we can see progress either in the way we look or the weights that we lift. Yeah, we either start to look better, we either get musclier or slimmer, or our weights go up and up and up. So we start to see progress. So we need to see that progress within our lessons as well. Whether that might be the ability to go back to the woman before, playing a husband. So now she gets beat all the time by her husband. Now she starts winning a few more points, and those points then start turning to games, and all of a sudden she wins a set. Now she starts seeing progress. And that's what it's going to be in terms of the on-court delivery. It's got to be personal. And whether that be group or individual, if it's a group, again, we've got to see progress. There's got to be a clear intention of the group. What are we working towards? What's our common goal? By the end of the term, what do we want to explore? So again, last term for my players, it was all about exploring, taking control and playing at the net. So we did 6 weeks on exploring and playing in and around the net. At the start of the term, they weren't very good. By the end of the term, they're slightly better. Okay, we're making progress. And how we show that progress is lots of different ways. We can do it with a player progress report where we have our view of, okay, has the player improved? You may do some type of closed practice drills and record the score. I'm not a huge fan of that because it doesn't really show skill. It just shows the ability to repeat a closed practice, but you might use that. So again, in the past, forehands cross court in a minute, backhands cross court in a minute. Not the best measure, to be honest, but if that at least gives you something to show the player, then great. I use lots of video. So I'll record lots of video, especially in private lessons. So we'll record lesson 1. I'll then show you lesson 6 and we'll compare them. Okay, and we should physically start to see differences. You may see differences in results or just confidence. So the player may fill in a form on week 1 about their confidence out of 10. I'm a 4. Okay, after week 10, okay, my confidence is now a 7. So there's lots of ways in which you can measure progress. But my best measure is if they keep coming back. If they keep coming back, then you're doing well and they keep enjoying it. And then you keep sort of evolving and progressing their goals and their plan. But I think definitely in terms of the delivery, okay, make it personal. I guarantee all of us watching this, I've been guilty of it as well. You just do the same session, no matter who you're working with. Same intention, same drills, same teaching points. Actually coach the individual. I know it's a bit more work, but that's what they're paying you for. They're paying you for a personal service, especially if it's a one-to-one. And then as they're going through the sessions, I think we could all keep adding value as well. So you may have an email list where you send out a newsletter each week or each month, and you maybe highlight some good articles that you've come across, or a book recommendation, or you might recommend some YouTube videos that they go and watch. You may actually sort of schedule check-ins. So if a player's having a lesson, I don't know, every 2 weeks, in the middle of the week where there's no lesson, you may just send them a text, how's your game this week? Or a WhatsApp. Or if your players are playing tournaments, like, go to the tournament. And now I'm not expecting you to go to every single tournament, because it's tough, because generally don't get paid for tournament visits. And tournaments are generally held on times where we're coaching. But get to a tournament at least once a month with your players. Take a group of players to tournaments. Give them opportunities outside of your lessons. So can you do an online box league? Can you do an online ladder? Can you have a social WhatsApp group if it's a group of adults who can organize and have unstructured stuff? Can you encourage them to play more tennis? But when we say more tennis, encourage more unstructured tennis. Don't encourage more lessons. I think that's the biggest mistake a lot of coaches make. They just push more lessons because they want more money. And all that ends up happening is people just get burnt out with tennis lessons. But there's a lot of research out there to show if players play outside of lessons, unstructured, whether that be play with friends, play tournaments, play competitions, they'll play longer. And if they play longer, you'll get more lessons. And it's always one of them with players when players come to me and say, we want 3 private lessons a week. I said, why? Why do you want 3 private lessons a week for? Oh, because we really want to improve. We'll have 1 lesson and play 3 times a week. Because you probably learn more from the unstructured stuff than you will from me. My job as a coach for the lesson is to give you some ideas and some things to think about and work on. Then you just go away and work at them. I always remember when I had some keyboard lessons. Didn't have many because I wasn't very good, and I forgot. I didn't realize how hard it was to play a musical instrument. But I remember my keyboard instructor saying to me in the first lesson, "If you don't practice, there's no point. Like, it's not about just having a lesson and then getting better. If you go off and practice between lessons, that's where the learning's done, and you'll actually improve more. The lessons are just there to give you a guide of where to go and how to practice. The lessons, that's not where the learning's done. The learning's done in your practice in between." I would not go, okay, yeah, and then I wouldn't practice, and I didn't get better, and then I just stopped doing keyboard because it was boring me. But he was right what he said. If I would have practiced in between, I would have got better very quick. But I just seen it. Okay, I learned my keyboard in my 1 hour a week. What he was trying to get to me, which now in hindsight, reflections, but what I'm saying here as a coach, like, come to the lesson. Find stuff that you want to explore. Let the coach help you, guide you towards some solutions. Then go off and work on it, and then come back to the lesson. And it's the same when people say to me, "Oh, I can't afford to have a lesson a week." So we don't need a lesson a week. If you have 1 lesson a month, but then you practice 2 hours a week, you're going to be really good. You don't need a lesson a week. And again, coaches, we cut our nose off to spite our face. And we push lessons down people's throats like they need them. And all that happens is we either price people out of it, or people have loads of lessons. They don't improve because all they have is structured, regimented lessons. And when they play matches, it's the opposite. Therefore, they go, why am I wasting 120 quid a week? And I'm not actually getting better at playing tennis, because they're not playing tennis. They're just being taught how to hit a shot. Then we lose them. So that's just a few ideas of how I add value. And all the stuff that I've talked about here is pretty much based on experience, whether it be myself running my own businesses or working with lots of other coaches. I do lots of mentoring now, which is great. And I mentor quite a lot of coaches around the world from different backgrounds, different types of clubs, different types of players. And a lot of the pitfalls or problems I've talked about here, it's the same across the world. So hopefully you found some use in the stream. I'm going to try and keep these streams under 30 minutes because, YouTube doesn't like long videos, especially if people watch 2 minutes and stop. Then YouTube thinks it's a rubbish video. So if you do find value in these live streams, please do me a huge favor, especially on YouTube, hit the like button and comment below. And that just helps YouTube understand that, okay, these videos are of value. I could just stand there and shake my finger at the camera and dance to a TikTok and get like thousands of views. But it's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to try and help tennis coaches be better, both on court and off court. As always, if you found value in this video, please head over to mytenniscoaching.com. We have lots of articles, videos, and podcasts. There is also the membership, My Tennis Coach Academy, where we go in great detail into things like marketing and business and how to promote your tennis program. But we also look at how to develop more and better players and become a better tennis coach as well through ecological dynamics. Please check out My Coach Academy. And until next week, have a great week, and I will see you all.